Let me turn this on first. All right. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight for our Village of Alsip board meeting. Today is December 2nd, 2019. We'll call this meeting to order at 7:30 p.m. Can you call the roll, please?
Yes, please. Could I remind all the members of the audience to silence your cell phones before the meeting begins, please? Thank you. Trustee Dalzell.
Here.
Trustee Zielinski.
Here.
Trustee Juarez.
Here.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Here.
Trustee Murphy.
Here.
Trustee Nava-Esparza.
Here.
Mayor Ryan.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, may I have a moment for a parliamentary inquiry, please?
Sure.
And it's in regards to the agenda, so before we started the meeting. At the July 29th, 2019 special board meeting, the Board of Trustees and the Mayor voted 4 to 2 to 1 to approve the Safe Speed LLC contract for the provisions of red light cameras enforcement in the village using the 7 existing camera locations approved by IDOT. How do we legally dispose of that approval? Do we need to have a nullifying vote to void that approval before we send it out for RFP again?
I think it's premature to even ask that yet because the board hasn't even considered what we have on the agenda yet.
Well, that's why I'm asking if we need to nullify that before, because it is on the agenda for approval per municipal code. Any mayoral veto or motion to reconsider should have been made at the board meeting following the 7/29 special board meeting, which would have taken place at the board meeting on August 5th. So I just want to see if parliamentary procedure-wise we need to.
How about if I just make it easy and just say I propose to a table item O for the RFP solicitation.
But I will say there was never even a contract that was given to you guys.
I understand
so
that the
you would
contract
actually
wasn't
need
approved,
to consider a contract before it actually got approved. So right now, all there was a RFP that you received. There was no approval of the contract, and you could move forward with that or not move forward with that.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
The board already gave authorization for the mayor or the finance director to go ahead and sign a contract.
You guys can't give authority to sign a contract that doesn't exist.
They voted for that company, though.
Do you want that? Is that what you want?
No, I voted against it personally.
Okay.
But my point is, what's to keep someone anybody from signing a contract in the future without additional board permission?
If a different action is taken, we'll note it as a part of that action.
Okay, I wasn't sure since they had voted to approve it.
But there was no contract. The contract from Safe Speed was never actually given to the village until October 3.
Okay.
So it has been impossible for you guys to improve that contract back then.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that we weren't putting a cart before a horse, so to speak.
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Ryan.
No problem. Okay, we'll start officers' report, starting with myself. Obviously, you'd hate to think we do this every week, but unfortunately, we do live in a violent world. And I want to ask everyone to please keep in your heart and your thoughts some of the recent incidents that happened this weekend. I was just reading up on in Michigan, out in Kalamazoo, where a patrolman, a sheriff, and a trooper were all shot while a man lost his life as a hostage in a home out there. It was horrible. And 4 people lost their lives in Minneapolis this weekend as a domestic incident. Certainly in Chicago, they've got many issues that happen all the time. And it just, through this holiday season, it'd be wonderful to think that we can ask everybody to take a break. But please keep those families in your thoughts this holiday season. Next, just a reminder to everybody, I was kind of made aware of this more so just yesterday. And I tell you, it's a new popular concept in a lot of homes. I joined the club yesterday with putting one of those Ring doorbells on my house and stuff. But it's amazing how, much like social media, how much information is exchanged on those kind of things. And a popular topic, I talked to the police chief earlier, and his department reminds people all the time, 'tis the season to lock your doors. Please lock your cars up at night. You know, I mean, protect your belongings. When you're out shopping this holiday season, especially when your cars are in your driveways, in front of your homes, whatever, please lock your cars up. Next, I spoke to the building commissioner earlier. We had a couple of incidents on Wednesday with that terrible wind that we had, and everything's been secured at the Jewel over on Pulaski. We had like a whole side of a building. All the facebrick came off a building over there due to what I'm sure is infrastructure frost issues possibly, and a roof came off a building, off a repair shop over at 113th and Cicero. Both have been boarded up and secured for the time being. They do have contractors out there now to deal with those situations. Next, I actually got a letter just today from Pace Bus System. Pace operates a bus, actually it's known as Route 877. What that does is that bus actually has a terminal right across the street from Eisenhower High School on 127th Street, just east of Kedzie. That bus will actually go east and take you to like 154th Street and the train station at 154th in Harvey if you were to go east. If you were to go west on it and get on that bus, that's actually one of those express buses. They'll actually get on the Tri-State Expressway, and you can get dropped off at either Oakbrook Mall or even Yorktown Mall. That'll take you out that far. It used to be, and I just want to read real quick what Pace Bus sent today. It says, as part of our long-term vision, Pace is committed to providing Northeastern Illinois with sustainable transportation options and efficient operations, as we are currently reevaluating our bus route network to improve customer service, safety, and on-time performance for our customers. As you may be aware, Pace customers can board a bus on most routes by simply flagging down a bus wherever it's safe to do so, regardless of whether that location has a posted bus stop or sign. In the interest of public safety and efficiency, we are changing that model now. Now Pace is undergoing the process of converting all of their bus routes to posted stops only operation. We intend to convert nearly 200 bus routes system-wide in stages over the next few years. This operational improvement is aligned with our long-term plans to modernize the system with transit signal priority implementation and provide better information to the potential riders about where bus routes operate. As part of this conversation, a detailed study was performed to identify bus stop locations along, like the route I'm speaking of, Route 877, based on safety, ridership counts, and other factors. Once the conversion of Route 877 is complete, riders will be able to board an light bus at the posted stop signs listed in each attached chart. Within a few weeks, Pace and its contractor will begin relocating and installing new bus stop signs when needed at their locations identified. So just so everybody keeps in mind, in the Alsip area, they're going to have a bus stop sign at the at 127th and Pulaski, both on the northwest corner and the southeast corner, and then at 127th and Costner at the northeast corner and the southwest corner. That's where you can board these buses whether you're going east or, going east or west, and that's the only two spots that they highlighted at this time then, too. And obviously the Blue Island Station, which, like I said, that's at right across the street from Eisenhower High School. So should you ever choose to go out to one of those malls, you can certainly ride a Pace bus from Alsip all the way out to those two malls. Only at those designated intersections, no more flagging down the bus. Okay, so I'll get on to my report on your agendas. Number one was the approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving a Class 6B assessment status for the real estate located at 4300 West 123rd Street. It has two pins known as 24-27-206, 196 and 197, 0000 in the village of Alsip, Illinois, Cook County. And that refers to Lynch, Chicago, that's planning to move in there next month, or possibly at the end of this month. They made a presentation at a prior board meeting asking for this 6B tax incentive. And that's all I have for the evening. Clerk's report?
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. Presentation and approval of the October 7th, 2019 Board of Trustee meeting minutes. Presentation and approval of the October 21st, 2019 Board of Trustee meeting minutes. Presentation and approval of the November 4th, 2019 Board of Trustees meeting minutes. And presentation and approval of the November 18th, 2019 Board of Trustee meeting minutes. That is all, Mayor Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you. Next, the attorney's report. We have Joe Kinkar with us.
No report, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Next, engineer's report. Will?
I have nothing to report other than the water main construction along Pulaski Road has been completed.
I was over in there 1933 that we spoke of. Yeah, I heard the remediation went really well on that. How's it coming on the design plans, Will, for the other one on 125th?
On
125th and Pulaski by
Pulaski.
AT&T over there?
we're still in the preliminary stage on that. We're getting
Okay.
topography, so
Okay.
it's in the works.
All right, thanks. Next, we have the public forum part of our meeting. Did anyone in the audience wish to address the board tonight? Nobody? Yeah, go ahead. Come up, sir.
Thomas Wengel, longtime resident of the village. Would this be the appropriate time to talk about this cannabis lid?
You could.
I could?
Sure.
Can I address the audience?
Sure. Good. I'm going to turn around. Hey, excuse me. Hey, Tom, could you do me a
Mr.
favor?
Engel, you'll need to use the microphone,
You have to use
please.
the mic.
Even one of these, yeah, there you go. Just spin that around. Thank you, Tom.
All you young people out here, has you ever had to talk with your parents about drugs? Raise your hands. Have they told you it's not good for you? Yes? Well, what they're going to be voting on here tonight is to legalize the sale of marijuana in the village of Alsip. So you should pay attention to this when it comes to this part on page 2, where it says ordinance and legislation, item C. Pay attention to the vote on this. If somebody votes yes on it from the village board, ask them why at the end of the meeting. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, Chief Ski.
All right, thank you. Next is the standing committee reports. Finance Committee, Trustee McGlohan.
First, I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated November 22nd, 2019, totaling $403,045.98. Next, I have a request for approval of accounts payable dated December 2nd. The recap: General Fund, $344,112.80. Road and Bridge, $25,563.36. MFT, $5,420.85. Pulaski Road Corridor TIF, $7,301.88. Water and Sewer, $559,032.83. Heritage, $31,851.86, for a grand total all funds of $973,283.58. Next, I have a request for approval of a resolution of the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, authorizing interventions in proceedings before the State of Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board. And finally, I have a request for approval of the PTAB attorney's recommendation for the village to intervene on the following 5 PTAB cases. First, case 18-28000 Warnecki. Next, 18-26770 Donovan Marine. Next, 18-26760 Griffith Foods. Next, 18-27518 Leonin. And finally, 18-30042 ComEd. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, the Fire Committee report, Trustee Murphy.
I have approval to change Chapter 9, Section 9 through 40.1, change to NFPA 101 version of 2015 from year 2000. And next, I have approval to hire one replacement firefighter for the firefighter who is resigning on December 4th, 2019. And that's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next, the police and traffic safety report. Trustee Dalzell.
We're requesting the approval of the Police Department October 2019 monthly activity report. Also requesting the approval to hire 2 police officers. The hiring of these 2 officers will bring the department back to full strength. Number 3 is the approval to purchase a vehicle to be used for the investigations division at a cost not to exceed $24,000. The purchase was budgeted for. 4th is the approval to equip the above vehicle with the basic emergency equipment not to exceed $6,000 utilizing Public Safety Direct. That is also a budgeted for expense. And lastly, the approval to solicit for a request for proposal for the red light camera enforcement and to post the RFP to the village website. That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you. Next, we have the public work and boat launch report. Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval to purchase 2 Sternberg Street light poles from Paramount EO Electric Company for Pulaski Avenue, and the amount not to exceed $25,620. That's all, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Next is the sewer and water report. Trustee Nava Esparza.
Thank you. The engineer provided some updates with pending projects that we have under sewer and water, and other than that, I have no report.
Okay. And Trustee, I did excuse Water Commissioner tonight. He's under the weather and so forth, so I couldn't be here tonight. Next is the building and health report. Trustee Zelinski.
No report this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Human resource and insurance. Trustee Murphy.
No report tonight, Mayor.
All right. Special committee reports. Economic development. Trustee Nava Esparza.
No report, Mayor.
All right. Next, village properties. Trustee McGlohan.
I have a request for approval for authorization to have the village attorney develop language for incorporation into the Standard Heritage 1 and Heritage 2 lease agreements or rider for the lease agreements. The potential language to be along the lines of the tenant shall not permit anyone to smoke or cultivate cannabis or any other federally prohibited substance in any part of the premises, the common areas of the property of which they form a part. Failure to comply will result in a first offense, a written warning, second offense, a $500 fine, and third offense, termination of the lease and eviction. And that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we had Ordinance and Legislation Committee. Trustee Zelinski.
I have an approval of an ordinance amending the Village of Alsip zoning ordinance, providing for the regulation of cannabis organizations. That's all I have this evening.
Okay. Thank you. Next is IT. Trustee Dalzell.
There's no report, but I would request of Kent to ask Brian on the payroll listing for what we see here. The areas that are highlighted often, on my copy, appears as
They're
redacted.
totally not legible tonight.
Yeah, so, and I've noticed that the last couple times, apparently the copier is too good. So if they can lighten it up a bit, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Next is the Planning and Zoning and Licenses. Trustee Juarez.
I have an approval of a list of licenses dated November 12th through November 25th, 2019. That's all.
All right, thank you. Trustees, any presentations, petitions, or communications? I'd like to invite everyone, as a reminder, this coming Friday night is our annual Holiday on Pulaski event over on Pulaski. This goes from 5:30 till 9 o'clock at night. It's a free event. We've got, we'll start the night at 5:30 at Veterans Plaza at 118th and Pulaski. We're going to have the Prairie Junior High Band out there and light the tree with Santa Claus and so forth. And then up and down Pulaski at all the different venues, businesses, a lot of them do welcome everyone in. Sometimes they've got different treats to share with people to promote their businesses and whatnot. Down at the Worth Township Gymnasium, they're actually going to have a what's the name?
An iceless ice rink.
It's an indoor ice rink, but it's actually, I forgot the name of it, synthetic. It's on
Iceless.
synthetic ice, yeah, it's iceless ice down there, so should be interesting. It looked pretty cool on that brochure yet, too, but,
And aren't the craft vendors in Worth Township as well this year?
yeah, all the crafters are indoors as opposed to being in a tent this year. And
I'm
we're
sure
hoping
they'll
for some great
appreciate that.
weather, because a couple times, even last year, I think it was pretty bitter. I remember chasing around getting some, like, space heaters for, like, the torpedoes for everybody and stuff, you know, so please, if you're available Friday night, come out and join us Friday night then, too. Trustees, did anyone want to remove any items from the consent agenda?
I would like to remove item R, Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor, if I can get a motion to table item O,
Oh,
please.
all right. Anybody else? Okay.
With the motion to table, I'll need to take a roll call, correct?
That's correct, yes, separately. But with respect to item number J, that does require an ordinance. It's on the agenda. I did forward an ordinance this morning, but I just want to make sure you're able to assign it a number before it goes on the consent agenda.
Okay.
The resolution right above that does give that law firm the authority to make decisions. What we had told them is...
It's different.
Different,
Yeah,
totally something different.
J is
J's
under
the-
fire.
Change to the fire code
I
ordinance.
apologize. I was looking at I.
Okay.
I need glasses.
Can I get a motion then to establish a consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Mr. Kankar, do I need to do the motion for table first before establishing the consent?
No, just pull
Okay.
the RFP off the consent agenda is what,
Okay.
he wants a separate vote.
Thank you. Roll call number 1 to establish the consent agenda. Again, we are adding an ordinance number line to item number J. Letter O has a motion to table, and letter R, as in Robert, has been removed. Roll call number 1 to establish. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Barza.
Yes.
Motion carries to establish the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is presented.
Second.
And I'm sorry, going back to the motion to establish, who made the motion to establish? Was that Trustee McLaughlin? And who seconded it, please?
Trustee Murphy.
Thank you.
Now, establish was Trustee Murphy.
Oh.
Monica, you just approved it.
Sorry.
Thank you, trustee. Roll call number 2 to approve the consent agenda as presented. Letter A will be read, approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving Class 6B assessment status for the real estate located at 4300 West 123rd Street, pins 24-227-206-196-0000 and pin 24-227-206-197-0000 in the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, will be ordinance number 2019-12-1. Letter F is in Frank, approval of a list of payroll dated November 22nd, 2019, totaling $403,045.98. Letter G is in George, approval of a list of accounts payable dated December 2nd, 2019, totaling $973,283.58. Letter H is in Henry, approval of a resolution of the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois, authorizing interventions and proceedings before the State of Illinois Property Tax Appeal Board, will be known as Resolution Number 2019-12-R-1. Letter I is in Indigo, approval of PTAB attorneys, letter J is in Jump, approval to change Chapter 9, Section 9-40.1, change to NFPA 101 version of 2015 from year 2000, will be ordinance number 2019-12-2. And that is all of the updates. Again, this is roll call number 2 to approve as presented. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Sparza.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve as presented.
Thank you. We'll go back to two items that were pulled from the agenda. Letter O was the approval to solicit new requests for proposals for red light camera enforcement and to post an RFP on the village website. Trustee Dalzell, you had pulled that, were you asking to table that?
Yeah, just table it. I think that, we put stuff out. I know that there's been a lot of negative press about it, and whether that bears weight or not. I checked the map of the village of Alsip, and it still appears to be inside the United States of America. So I think that we should wait a little bit and find out what the repercussions are going to be, innocent until proven guilty.
Understood.
And Trustee Dalzell, just for, I know we all like proper legislative procedure here, so technically your motion should be a motion to postpone indefinitely, if that's what you so desire.
On your recommendation, I would like to do a motion to postpone indefinitely.
Yeah.
I love Robert's Rule of Order.
That is debatable, unlike a motion to table.
Thank you. We need a second if we're going to move with that.
Second.
Second.
Roll call number 3 is a motion to postpone indefinitely, letter O as in orange, approval to solicit new requests for proposals for the red light camera enforcement and to post the RFP on the village website. Again, this is a roll call number 3 to postpone indefinitely. Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Sparza.
Yes.
Motion carries to postpone indefinitely.
Thank you. Next is the letter R, is the approval of an ordinance amending the Village of Alsip zoning ordinance, providing for the regulation of cannabis organizations. Trustee McLaurin, did you have a question on that?
Yes, I did, because there had been some discussion in terms of the distances noted in Section 104, where currently it's listed as 2,500 feet. And I didn't know, did we still want to stay with 2,500 feet or go with the 1,000 feet rule throughout the ordinance?
So what the trustee is referring to is in the ordinance itself, we have a distance that we preliminarily had determined at 2,500 feet for a cultivation operation to actually grow this product, which is approximately a half a mile. Now, in most cases, actually a couple people pointed out at our committee meeting last week, a half a mile to like a residential area kind of knocks you right out of the box and so forth then too, because any of our, like right now we're targeting just industrial areas to position any potential investor that they have said business. And within a half a mile, you will find a residential district. So less than a half a mile, I'd say, too. So what you're saying is to give us more room to roam for the potential business is by shortening that distance a little bit then, too. Because you actually free up another 1,500 square feet behind them, if 1,500 feet, rather, not square, but 1,500 feet behind them.
I mean, because any organization that would consider coming to town would have to go through planning and zoning anyway in order to get a special use. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to necessarily knock everybody out of the box right off the bat.
So your suggestion was, right now for a dispensary, we're at 1,000 feet for that. So your suggestion is leave everything at 1,000 feet?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
For both cultivation and dispensary?
Yes.
And that's from property line, private nursery, preschool, secondary school, and any daycare and residential care.
It's property line, Joe?
Correct.
Okay. That is correct, what you said.
Or a public park.
Right, and to be, just to let everybody know, the 2,500 feet was originally the state legislature prescription for medical cannabis facilities, which didn't give any authority to municipalities to zone them out, right? So they kind of built that into their statute as it was. Now with the recreational use, the statute doesn't provide for that. You can do 1,000, you can do none. But when I originally proposed this, I wanted you guys to have what was what the state did, at least for the medical, so.
So with that question being on the table to possibly amend the distances, we'd probably have to poll the board to get a consensus as to whether or not we want to do that. That's your request anyway, trustee, is what I'm, is that, I don't want to put words in your
Yes.
mouth. Is that your request? Okay. So I would, I'd ask the clerk then if you could poll the board to see if that's what everyone would like to do or not.
Again, this is a poll to change the language in Section 104.1, a cannabis industrial organization. The enclosed locked facility where cannabis will be grown, harvested, infused, manufactured, packaged, or otherwise prepared for distribution may not be located within 1,000 feet of the property line of a pre-existing public or private nursery school, preschool, primary or secondary school, daycare center, daycare home, or residential care. Mr. Kanker, would that also then apply to point 2?
I believe that was the trustee's
Yes.
intent.
Okay. And point number 2 is a cannabis industrial organization may not be located within 1,000 feet of the property line of an area zoned residential. So this is a poll to adjust the language of letter R. Trustee Dalzell.
No.
Trustee Zelinski.
No.
Trustee Juarez.
No.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Navas Esparza.
No.
Motion fails to adjust the language.
Okay.
As long as we're talking about this, Mayor, can we still have a continued discussion about this?
Sure.
About passing this, or, because this is going to go for a separate vote, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I've been looking into why some of these other towns have been saying no to these particular ordinances for their towns. I wasn't always aware of all these rules, and I mean, there's a lot of new stuff coming at us. It's a cash-only business, and with that, it's a cash-only business because it's federally still illegal. And I wanted to actually ask the police chief a question after I made a couple other points. I mean, right now, you're talking about possibly increased crime, people getting robbed in parking lot. I mean, if it's a cash-only business, and then you got, they're not able to open. Sometimes they're not able to open bank accounts and stuff because it's federally illegal. With the Homeland Security and all. And then you're going to have owners of these places. I mean, if it's going to bring in the kind of money we've been talking about lately, they're going to be carrying thousands of dollars with them, after hours or whatever. This is going to tax the police department even more. Are we okay to go with this?
Most of these businesses have vaults on site. They're not in the transport business, and when they do transport, they transport very much like with an armored car service type of service. And they also have their own security on site and those types of things from what I can tell and what I've read up on.
I mean, sometimes that security is as little as, just somebody checking IDs at the door, to, metal detectors at the door.
There's actually, the chief and some of the training courses that we've gone to, this is a secured operation. I mean, there's actually waiting rooms, there's processing, there's all kinds of things.
It's very much like a bank setup would be.
Right.
Like you would have a teller window with, bulletproof glass, that type of thing. All transactions are done through a cash under the glass type deal.
Yeah, this is pretty well thought out as far as security is concerned on something like this.
I mean, the thing that bothers me the most, well, besides the moral things of what we're doing here, I just want to make sure that, the risks don't outweigh the rewards here, and, it just sounds like an invitation to crime, and I don't want to bring any kind of bad element into town, so
Okay.
that's all I have.
Thank you. So if we go back to the question, trustee McLaurin, you were the one that originally pulled this. The question, are you ready for the question? Any
I'm
other
good.
questions? Okay.
I can make the motion if you like.
Okay, so, yeah, would you like to make said motion then to approve approval of an ordinance, doing that a lot tonight, amending the Village of Alsip zoning ordinance, providing for the regulation of cannabis organizations?
Yes, so moved.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I need a second if we're going to vote on that.
Second.
Roll call number 5 to approve letter R, approval of an ordinance amending the Village of Alsip zoning ordinance, providing for the regulation of cannabis organizations. Trustee Dalzell.
No.
Trustee Zelinski.
No.
Trustee Juarez.
No.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Trustee Murphy.
Yes.
Trustee Nava Esparza.
Yes.
Mayor Ryan.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve 4-3. It will be now known as ordinance number 2019-12-3.
All right, thank you. Next would be the motion to approve, unfinished business. Any unfinished business? How about any new business? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We'll adjourn this meeting at 8:07. Again, we YouTube all these meetings, so please feel free to review this meeting again if you wish on this date on YouTube. Have a great night, folks. Thank you.